Welcome back to the podcast.
Diggity.
Happy hump day. It's Wednesday
today. Get my timer going, guys. Sorry about this.
It's Wednesday. Jerome and I are off to Hawaii tomorrow. We usually lately we record on Fridays.
Yeah.
But
gives us time to really gather ourselves.
Yeah. Well, Friday I just don't have calls and things, so it's an easy day. But we're here recording on Wednesday because we're going to Hawaii tomorrow. You excited? I'm ready.
I'm excited, man.
So we're actually leaving shortly after this podcast to go spend the night at Jerome's parents' house because they live much closer to the airport than we do.
Dude, yeah. Looking crazy.
But yeah, so what's going on, babe?
Not much. I woke up. I'm not under the weather.
You sound like Eeyore. Not much. I just woke up today.
So Alex was sick last week. And I feel like I got a little bit of what he had, but I'm coming out of it. So it's just I'm just a little tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all got tested for COVID and we're good, but I'm just tired. That's it.
Just maybe got a little underlying cold there or what?
Like sniffles, and I feel like I have allergies too, dude. It's hella windy outside.
Yeah, that makes sense. You do get really bad allergies.
Crazy.
You should. I don't think you could take that on the plane, but you should have went and bought that natural.
I have some. I could take some before we leave.
You should take some.
But it's called Kick-Ass Allergies for anyone that has really bad allergies.
Yeah, it's natural, like a natural allergy
remedy. Can take it like 3 to 4 times a day, just like every 4 hours, I think. And it's not medicine, so it doesn't have any crazy chemicals in it. And you just sip it with warm water, and it just clears out your throat and nasal.
Works really good. You just go through it really fast.
Dude, yeah, I use it so much when allergies are kicking, and it's actually around that time.
Yeah.
Where it starts, so I should get.
There you go. Look, Jerome's anxiety just went down a little bit when he realized he might just have allergies.
I think I have COVID every other week.
I told him this morning, thankfully we just got our COVID results, so you're fine.
I just got tested.
Otherwise he would think he was dying.
That's true.
Anyways,
I can't breathe.
For those of you who are listening, anyone right now, don't forget, get a free
look at you,
free Audible credit. You can click the link in our bio.
audibletrial.com/Cafecito JJ Sarina.
Yeah.
Hit up the trial, get a free book.
Yep.
These are some of our favorites. You can listen to whatever you want. Fiction, nonfiction, self-help books.
Yeah. Are you reading anything right now?
I kind of stopped lately. I don't know why.
How dare you?
Yeah, I was actually reading Matthew McConaughey. He's the actor.
Yeah.
A lot of people know him.
You've been on your phone instead?
His book Green Light's kind of cool. It's like a memoir with some philosophy in it. It was pretty interesting when I started reading it, and then I just stopped.
I've been on a kick all day about morning routines.
Yeah, which I don't have.
Which is, it
we should make a podcast about that. You want to just talk about that?
Well, just roll with it. But, today, I'm in this year-long Ayurveda program, and today it was all about, I forget the Ayurveda word for it, but Danakarya, I forget. I'm totally butchering that. But it's a word that means routines, essentially, and she was saying how important it is. Actually, I haven't got to talk to you about this yet, so I think you'll appreciate this and the podcast.
Okay. Drop some knowledge.
So she was actually explaining how it's that time when you wake up in the morning where you're kind of remembering your dream.
Yeah.
Right? And then that time right before bed, right when you're about to doze off, where you're the most connected to your true self. You're in between states.
Wow.
Which it's super interesting, and obviously I won't go into extreme detail about it.
That's Alex the other day. He told me, he's Jerome, what's the first thing you do when you wake up? And I told him, and then after he's you're not supposed to be on your phone for 20 minutes after you wake up.
Yeah. And what do you do?
I roll over and check my phone.
You literally lay in bed for 20 minutes on your phone, and then you get up, grab your
check
coffee.
my phone before I even take a piss. It's terrible.
But then what do you do? So then you get up, use the bathroom, you go downstairs, grab your coffee, and do what?
Sip on it and use my phone.
Literally, the worst part is it's a TikTok videos or something just noise.
I'm just waking up.
Yeah.
So bad.
I get so annoyed because I'm I need silence.
Dude, I don't know how you do. Serena wakes up and meditates. She's one of those people. You ever see those people? Wake up, you take a shower, you meditate. Literally, Serena does that. I'm how do you meditate right when you wake up? I'm falling asleep.
Well, because that's exactly, you're in this state where you're not fully awake yet, and it's the best time to connect with yourself because you haven't yet thought about your calendar, you haven't looked at it, you haven't got into the day, the chores, all the stuff. You're just waking up. So you're supposed to use that time. It's such a valuable valuable, sensitive time where you're supposed to use that time and really capitalize on it. But the fact that you're like in this altered state, that's exactly what we were learning about today too.
But we're all like this now, dude.
No, you are. I will occasionally, like, I'll wake up and I'll open up my phone and I'll lay in bed for like 5 minutes, but I always catch myself. I'm like, what am I doing? And I keep going because I'm like, this is not how I want to start my day.
Dude.
It also starts to wake you up, the blue light on your phone and all the things. So your mind starts going, and then I literally feel like I lost a valuable moment. Like, it's gone. I don't get that morning back, like that state.
I feel like, yeah, for me, it's so hard to get up in the mornings that like the thought of like meditating, I would just fall right back asleep.
And that's what everyone thinks, but you're not. Sit up.
Oh, see, I can't. How are you about to wake up, sit up, and then just?
But I don't just wake up and sit up in my bed. I wake up, use the bathroom, go downstairs, make my coffee. I get the coffee brewing or make my coffee, and then I'll go sit on the couch and literally listen to like a guided meditation for like 4 or 5 minutes. That's like my simple version. And on other days, I'll come upstairs and actually meditate and do stuff for an hour.
Oh, I like my routine. Wake up, pee.
No, you
phone,
don't.
Coffee.
That's trash. I'm so disappointed. One thing, I was literally just talking about this like 2 seconds before we hit record.
Tell us.
So, this is so perfect because this is our topic today in Ayurveda. And literally, she was saying like, the reason why most people don't have a morning routine is because you think that it has to like look a certain way. You have to like wake up, meditate immediately. Like you have to do
overcomplicate it.
Yeah, like why are you trying to like keep up with the Joneses of like perfection or whatever? Like
it's like those videos you see. You wake up, you jump in the shower, you take a cold shower, you jump out, you meditate, you go to the gym, you come home.
No, literally she, was kind of breaking it down, and I think this will help you actually. So she was saying, your daily routines, they have to be structured around your own personal life and your own personal narrative. So like if you think you have 5 minutes, like what can you do with the first 5 minutes of your day? You know what I mean? Like if you like, sometimes I have an hour and I'm like, yes, and I'll use the whole hour, but sometimes it's like 30 seconds and I just move on. Like I have things to do. So one, it has to be customized to your life. Everyone's like, I don't have time for a morning routine.
Got time for that morning sex though.
Yeah, no, you have time for that morning Instagram scroll.
That morning sex though.
So annoying. That's not a part of anyone's morning routine. But then also, she was kind of using like this analogy. And when I say she, I mean my teacher in the Ayurveda program I'm in. So she was saying, just like you have to take your car to get serviced, you have to service your body and your mind, but your car only gets serviced like every couple of months, right?
Change the oil,
yeah,
the tires,
well,
the brake pads.
your human body needs to be serviced every day.
Big facts, yep.
So how are you servicing? Yeah, you might work out every day, but what are you doing for your mind every day? Because let's be real, that's way more important than your body.
I don't know what to say. I was trying to think of what I've done. When I get really bad anxiety attacks, I'll get into like that routine. Like I fall back to like desperation. I'll meditate. I'll try to do anything.
Seriously? So when things are bad, you take care of that's like saying like...
That's like those people that they start praying when it's going bad. They're like, God,
I'll do anything. Yeah. Well, how about like you all of a sudden have health problems? Like, yeah, now's the time to start working out. Like, I'm glad you have health problems and now you're working out.
Yeah, I was like that person waits for the heart attack and they're like, all right, now I'm going to start running. That's me with my anxiety.
That's most people with their mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
Once you have a problem, it's like, I got to take care of this. But then you're feeling good and you just stop. You don't maintain it.
Yeah,
well, just like your body needs...
Literally what I do.
You have to keep working. You can't just achieve your weight loss goal and stop working out. You have to maintain your weight loss goal.
I know. It's exhausting though.
Is it though? That's the thing. It drives me nuts. It's not exhausting. How hard is it to spend 2 minutes a day on your mental health?
For me, it's just like it's a priority. When I have really bad anxiety, it's like what helps me, like my routine. And I'm trying to think of what I did. It'd be like...
You did a lot of meditation.
Maybe meditation like in the afternoon, like morning, afternoon, like before I start my day, 10 minutes maybe, like a guided 10
You were doing
minute.
like breathing, breath work?
Yeah, that, and then like even just like reading. Mm-hmm. Like something, like...
Actually doing a routine.
That was it, and that's it. Mm-hmm. That's all it takes.
And that's why I hate saying morning routine, because it doesn't have to be a morning routine. you could be anytime you want. Like maybe your job or life isn't set up for, I know a lot of like parents who they're like, I can't, there's just no way.
Yeah.
My kids are up at 5 a.m. and I'm not going to get up earlier than that. That's cool. So do it in the afternoon. Do it at night. Do it whenever the hell you have a second.
That's like
just do it.
Right now you're having a hard time beating Alex.
Dude, because Alex has been sick, so he's home for 10 days, and I have to be able to get up.
Not just that, but like even regular days, Alex will like, he hears our footsteps, and then you just hear him. Like, you hear his bed move, and then he do.
He's like, hey.
Yeah.
But then he goes,
like, hey.
You know what? And you know what's funny is he goes, can you come downstairs and watch TV with me?
Yeah.
And I should tell him that's no different than scrolling on your phone. What should you not do for the first 20 minutes of your day?
Dude, you gotta
He's the one who told us. So
I think it's funny how he does that. It's like, it's hard. You like have to like get away from him, and you're like, I need 20 minutes.
Because then if you say no,
I seen on your Instagram you posted, was that yesterday or this morning?
What?
Where you were like, Mom needs to meditate, and then you like went upstairs and you posted it.
I said, I tell my family if I don't meditate every morning, I just crumble into pieces, like physically.
Yeah.
You know, like they say, like witches, if you throw water on them, or is it like the light or something, it like burns them,
Yeah,
they
the
melt.
light.
If it rains, like they melt or whatever. So I was picturing that this morning. I was walking upstairs and I told you guys, well, if I don't meditate, I said if I don't meditate, I die. But I was posting on Instagram and I was like, if I tell my family if I don't meditate, I just crumble into little pieces. And you don't want me to die, right? So I gotta go meditate.
That's funny.
Which is also, you were like, babe, why aren't you sick? And he was like, maybe it's because you meditate every day.
I was joking.
It obviously, I wish it was that great. Everyone would be meditating to prevent COVID.
Dude.
But anyways, back to like the car analogy is, you know, so like I said, your mind and your body needs to be maintained every day.
Mm.
You know, just like our car, like we need to be maintained. But our cars, just like our cars need oil, so do our bodies. So like we need oil, right? But our bodies function on regular oiling. So like your car needs oil every couple of months, hopefully, right?
Yeah.
Your body needs oil every single day. And without it, you just don't run as well. Like without oil in your car, like it really starts messing
Yeah,
up.
you need that, what's that called?
What is it?
Oh my God, I couldn't even make a
WD-40?
reference. No, that... What's the high quality oil called in a car?
You Pennzoil?
No, not the brand.
Oh, synthetic.
Synthetic. Fuck, dude. I was like, yeah, give me that synthetic oil. I was trying to make a quick joke and I can't
Yeah,
remember it.
so that's the
synthetic oil.
thing is like we need as people our oil, your daily routines are your oil. And so then some people, I don't know, I think people think like your morning routine is like a frou-frou, like, oh, like I don't need to do that. You know what I mean?
It sounds like when I said
Like,
it,
seriously?
You think of like that. You wake up at 4 a.m. You jump in the cold
yeah,
shower.
what the hell?
And you fucking blah.
I'm like, dude, that's insane. And so like in her words, like she was kind of explaining, she's like, if you're a human on this earth who like wants to be like the best that you possibly can be, like in health,
Yeah.
have a freaking morning routine. And by
Yeah.
morning, I just mean like a daily routine. It's crazy to me.
That simple, huh?
Okay.
Well, it helps. What does it do? Like,
It's for your mental health.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's for you to connect to yourself. And that's where we're most disconnected from. So like people have anxiety. Why? Because you don't even breathe. Like you're filled with fear.
Yeah.
And so when do you address that? Sit with yourself and meditate or journal or read a book about it or something.
I think...
It's that silence.
I don't want to be wrong about it, but I heard, and I think I was listening to one of my books. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm misremembering this, but
Yeah.
he was talking about how like we live in like we see time as like linear, as we see the past, the present moment, and the future. And then I think this isn't in the book that I listened to. He does talk about this, and I might have seen it in like a video, but he was saying that if you live in the past, that's where depression is, and in the future is anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if that's
Yeah,
right.
so a lot of times if you're looking back at the past, it's depressing.
Yeah.
And if you look towards the future and you just stress about it all the time, you're anxious. You're filled with fear.
I don't know. I don't know where I saw
Because anxiety is usually unreleased fear. So like fear and anxiety can kind of go hand in hand. I wonder if you got that from The Power of Now.
that. No, I haven't read that book.
Oh, okay. Because he talks about something just like that. So you're on track. Like it is.
Is it a little right?
Yeah, I've heard that. Which is correct. Like all you have is right now in this present moment. But it's like... That's true. It's like your morning routine.
You know what? I think it was in that book, The Happiness Hypothesis.
That's
It gets
exactly
very into psychology. I think that was a reference he made. I can't remember if that's right.
No, I mean, what you're saying is right.
Yeah, the book's a hard listen, but it's really entertaining, like with knowledge.
It was cool when you were... Did you finish it?
No. See, I stopped listening to that too. I usually used to listen to that when I do cardio, but
wow,
it's been tough.
When you were reading that book, it was super cool to have conversations with you about it.
Dude, yeah, he goes in on that book with a lot of studies, a lot of like cool analogies, references a lot of pop culture. It's a fun book.
Yeah, it's cool as you were saying that, because you were like, okay, so what is the point of like your morning routine or daily routine? Mm-hmm. Well, just kind of like what you said, it allows you to stay in the present moment. Yeah. So if you're... Which is hard for everybody, right? Yeah, I mean, for most people. Unless you're like totally hippie high all the time. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, you know, most of us are constantly worried about what's next. Even if you're just focused on what do you have to do next, like right after this podcast, like is that on your mind? Yeah. Like there's always something. It's hard to just be here. Even before we started the podcast, I was like, come on, babe, let's do it. Come on. Because I'm thinking about like what we're doing next. Mm-hmm. Literally not even here. Because we have stuff to do. Yeah. So you can't even just be present. I think for us too, like the first thing I said is like, yeah, so after this, we're going to like pack up. We have, you know, stuff. We're going to get in the car. We're going to drive to your parents' house. Mm. But why do we have to be there at a certain time? We don't. You know what I mean? So, but we're just anxious. Like we're just ready to go in our minds. But it's like, well, really, if we can just like be here in this present moment, like it's so less stressful. Yeah. We try that every time we have somewhere to go though. When we don't have a time limit, we're like, we're just going to go. It's going to be super relaxing. Not good at it. Lately it's you. You're like, come on, babe, let's go. And I'm like, I thought we didn't have a time limit. I'm like the memes of the dads going to the airport. They're like, it's 3 a.m. guys, our flight's at 9. We're going to be late. Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. To me, it's just kind of appalling. You know, I was kind of saying, like, people don't even drink water on a daily basis. You know what I mean? Like, they maybe have a cup of water. I remember when I was in high school, I read this book, and the first thing he said, I was like, drink a glass of cold water. And I did it for 2 weeks, and then I stopped. Yeah, they say you're not actually supposed to drink cold water. It might have said still. It should be room temperature, or warm with lemon. It's good for you. But yeah, drinking water first thing in the morning is really important because your body gets dehydrated. But so like that could be a part of your morning routine. Like just wake up and drink a glass of water, put some lemon in it or something. Yeah, I was thinking, why do you think people don't? Why were we all so rushed, dude? Like when we go to work, we're like, dude, I don't know if this is just me. I was a bad employee, but I was always late. Like I was always You're a bad employee and now we work together? Awesome. I like working for my wife though. It's different. No, but I'm saying like I was always rushed, and then like you see in like the movies are always like rushing, they're always scrambling and stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, even like for you, like you weren't rushed, but it's just like you're always like in a hurry to get there. You say that. Well, even sometimes like I'll be downstairs in the kitchen and I'm like moving fast and I'm eating. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. And you'll just look at me and you're like, why? Like why are you moving so fast? Yeah. And I'm like, well, I have like 5 minutes before my next call. See, so like yeah. So I am, I don't know if I feel. If I'm like rushing, I think I think the lesson I'm learning is like I pack too much and I overgive. Mm. So like I have too many calls in one day to where like I don't have time to eat. That's not okay. Yeah. And I've only been doing that recently. Like, okay, the week, like we're going to Hawaii, so I crammed all my calls in. Yeah. Things like that. Otherwise, normally I'm really good about that. But no, it's true. And it's kind of like what we said on our last podcast episode. I think we were saying it's just about effort. Yeah. It's effort and priorities, right? Like what do you prioritize? And a lot of times, unless it's an immediate pain, we don't prioritize it. Yeah. Just like I said, the anxiety that I had was like bed riding me. Or what's it called? Bedridden. Like you were like immobilized. Yeah. It's not funny. Why are you laughing? No, but when you think about it. But no, people can relate to that. Yeah, no, but I'm saying like that's the only time I took it serious. Other than that, I'm just like... Yeah. I stopped doing everything. It's like, you know, people don't want to focus on their fitness or their health until they're like miserable or have a health problem. And even sometimes then they don't do it. Yeah. And so it's like, you know, seriously, like you don't drink water? like what? Back against the wall. Yeah. Stuff. And so it's the same with your mental health. It's like how much time do you prioritize to your mental health? It's kind of insane that we're not taught that. Once again, another thing that we're like not really taught. You know what I mean? What? Mental health? Yeah. Like how do you prioritize your mental health? Like why are our kids not growing up knowing like have a freaking morning routine? Yeah, I feel like it's bad now. What do you mean, like mental health?
Yeah, like
It
especially
seems
like
like
in
it.
high school kids and stuff. Like, man, it seems like
A lot of
even more
anxiety and
Yeah, like even more so
depression
now. Like it's just like they're not. I don't want to say sensitive, but it's just like
No.
like you could hurt someone easily now. Like it's just
a
like
different generation.
It's like in a fragile
but
state of mind almost. So
No, I mean, I won't go into that because I don't think I have the facts to talk
Neither
about
do I.
it.
I'm just saying,
But I
like,
get
it
what
just
you're
seems like it.
saying.
It feels like
I
it.
guess, like, from my take, I would just say that, like, you see, I feel like personal, objective opinion is like, I feel like I do see more kids now, quote unquote kids, like under 18 who like have anxiety or have depression or are struggling with this or struggling with that. And it just makes you curious, like, why?
dude, that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I mean.
Or maybe sometimes I wonder if we just didn't have the vocabulary, and it's not that there's more now, but we're just now know what we're dealing with. Sometimes like that could be, I don't know.
I don't know.
But it's just crazy to me.
But that's like when I was a kid, dude. I don't know why, but like, so when I was a kid, I was like in fourth, maybe third or fourth, second, so from like kindergarten to like fourth grade.
Mm-hmm.
I had this thing where I would just like start crying and not want to go to school.
Yeah.
And it's because I didn't want to leave my family.
Yeah.
And it was like the most weird thing. Like it was like I couldn't escape it. And it's just like, well, why was I feeling like that?
So interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
And I remember like I used to force myself like Jerome, like you gotta go to school today, like you're gonna be good, dude, like don't worry, like
Yeah.
you're not gonna cry, like you're gonna do it. And it's just like eventually like I forced my way out of it.
Yeah.
But it's just like I wonder why I was like that. And
Yeah.
I never found out. Like I literally just forced myself to stop and just like fucking
Yeah.
suck it up,
The I'm trying to remember. I don't know why my mind's like totally going blank, but I could tell you why.
No, you
Like,
can't. You don't
yes,
know. You didn't know me
no.
back then. You know what? And
So-
then this girl made fun of me and said I used to cry all the time.
You used to what?
I used to cry all the time. She used to say, you used to cry
You
when
used
you
to
were
cry
like
all
in
the
second
time?
grade. I was like,
Well,
what?
here's my take on that. There's a couple, I mean, it could be multiple things, but I think it's a little bit of a different thing than what we were kind of talking about, which is actually a good segue because it's interesting. Like, as you were talking, I was like, well, we can go super deep and think
Well,
like,
my point was,
I can't even finish my sentence.
sorry. My point was to correlate it to you
Yeah.
and like kids with like the depression and the anxiety.
Yeah, but you
So I'm
didn't
saying-
have depression or anxiety
No,
in that moment.
but I'm saying no one helped me through that situation. It's just like stop crying and go to a school.
Because people
type
don't
thing.
exactly because people don't understand it.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily that, like our parents are doing the best they can with
Yeah.
the tools that they have, and so they don't always understand like how to help you. Like they don't have the vocabulary or the education or like the, you know what I
Dude,
mean?
sometimes I don't know how to help Alex.
Yeah.
He's like yelling at me. I'm like, yo, chill,
But it's
bro.
interesting with that because when you say that, it's like, okay, so you could go one direction, which is more like inherited family trauma, which is like, okay, so what happened with your family? And like, if you look at your family, like your family's, they immigrated here and there was like separation things. So then you guys are super close when you got here. It's like you guys are like really close, like always together, very strong bonded family.
I
And
was like 6 though.
no, but you guys are still like that.
Yeah,
like you
that's
guys didn't
true.
like branch out and you didn't have a bunch of aunts, uncles, cousins, all the people around all the time. It was just you guys.
True.
So you had that connection, and then that connection, what happens with our kids is we either as parents, so your mom either raises you and you become, it's like your dependency. So she can make you codependent, or she can make you counter-dependent, or you can have like a healthy level, of not being dependent.
So what are you
for
saying?
you like your mom was, it's just like the joke of like standard Hispanic moms.
Is that a joke or are you being racist?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Got
No,
you.
but
Just kidding.
it really is like, I think that you were codependent.
What's that
You
mean?
were your attachment style. So like it gets to a point, there's like healthy, and we won't like full blown go into this. I go over this a lot in my conscious relationship course, and it's like, you like when our children are born, they have to be dependent on us, like codependent. We feed them, we nurture them, we do all these things, and then it gets to a point where like they start to learn how to walk and they start to eat on their own, and we have to let them walk. Like we have to let them breathe and we have to let them do their own thing. But if your mom's still spoon feeding you,
Yeah.
and if your mom's still like hovering over you like this, like all over you, then what does your mom do? She keeps you.
Are you attacking my mom's
codependent.
parenting style right now?
She like still spoon feeds your niece. Yeah, but I mean, No. Attacking your mom's parents' house. But
I'm gonna show her.
But you know what I mean is, but she wouldn't even understand is like, that's
It's fucked up.
You know what I mean? If she wouldn't get like, what do you mean codependent?
I'm just kidding.
Stop being a dick. You're so annoying. Jerome's mom's like the best mom ever. But seriously, like but it's that level of codependency. Like we create, and that's just what we do as parents.
Yeah.
You know, how we raise our kids. And so for you, that most of that happens between the ages of 0 to 7. And so you were just raised to be codependent. And so of course you were attached to your mother. You don't want to leave her.
Yeah.
And that's why you're so attached to me now. No, I'm just kidding. But do you
so sad on our cable. We didn't break it.
But you kind of get what I'm saying in terms of like attachment and codependency. There's just so much at play.
I was just trying to say that people are struggling now. You have to
but
break
now
down my life.
People are thinking like, oh my gosh, am I raising my kids to be codependent?
That's a whole other topic.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
That's like the other day I was like, it's so funny. Like I came downstairs and I had just cleaned all the dishes.
Yeah.
And I looked inside the sink and there was like a cup, a plate, and like a fork. And I was like, who ate this? And it was Alex. And I was like, how cool. He came down here, made himself a full-on lunch, and then just went back upstairs to his room. You
told me yesterday, you're like, I think you're like too, like, let Alex do his own things. Like
sometimes.
It's funny because my mom was like that with me.
Yeah.
And so I try to have that balance of like, my mom was, like, if I was sick, she was very nurturing, but she also raised me to be
you didn't get that,
very independent. Huh? Nurturing?
What?
No, what are you saying?
Just kidding.
I don't know where, I didn't get it.
You said my mom was very nurturing when I was sick. And I was like, you didn't get that, did you?
Okay, so when do I nurture Alex? When he's sick. Alex, I try to be nurturing. Like I have to be intentional about it, like being there and, taking time and slowing down and stuff, of course. But yeah, I don't know. There's just like this part of me, and obviously this comes from how I was raised, where it's just like teaching Alex to be independent.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know. Like, I remember when Alex was little, and whenever we would go over to her parents' house, everyone would just like hover over him. And I felt like it was exhausting because when I was there, someone was always like, he moved an arm, he moved a finger, he's going up, he's turning left, he's turning right. And I'm like, just let him exist in this house. Like at home, I don't just stare at him the whole time. Like we just live.
You let him play with knives. Just kidding.
But you kind of know what I mean? I am not that parent. There's no like right or wrong, but it's just who we are based off of our own life experiences.
Yeah.
So I have to try to find the balance of, maybe nurturing him more, like doing like extra little things versus like someone else who's like, oh my God, I need to like raise a more independent child.
Yeah.
Sometimes we joke and we're like, Alex is too independent.
Yeah.
And he's not really too independent, but like he really does do a lot for himself, which is interesting.
Yeah, he's like pretty what's it called?
Self-sufficient?
Yeah, self-sufficient when it comes to doing stuff.
Yeah, like he can make himself breakfast, lunch, and dinner if he had to.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. But he does. Like he makes himself breakfast a lot.
I'm trying to get him to memorize like our addresses, our phone numbers.
Yeah.
All the good stuff.
Yeah, no, it's important. But yeah, kind of going from like morning.
That's our dog scratching itself.
Kind of going from morning routines to just talking about. I'm
daily cut off there with the camera or whatever. Anyways.
You didn't even have to announce that because I stopped it. And
God, the audio listeners are like, what the fuck?
Anyways, so yeah, no, we record on YouTube and the podcast at the same time. So after 30 minutes, we have to reset the camera.
If you didn't know.
Yeah. Anyway, so if you're listening on the podcast, but yeah, so, I think at the end of the day, it all plays into like our mental health. And I think that's like really the theme of today's podcast. It's not just about a morning routine. It's kind of just about the full picture of like who we are as people. And I think like our mental health, because like you've already been set up to become whoever you are between the ages of 0 to 7.
Yeah.
So now you're just stuck with whatever you got.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, are you codependent? Do you have attachment issues? Are you just doing fantastic? Well, keep it going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've been working with like I work with a lot of clients who like, they struggle with like daily routines and things like that. One of my clients this week was like really struggling in her dating life. She's a business client, but like, hey, if she's struggling with her own personal life, it affects her business. Mm-hmm. So we had to stop and talk about that, and I recommended a book to her. It's actually called Attach, which is an incredible book. If you're, dealing with attachment issues or trying to cultivate or like create and keep love in your life. And she was like basically coming to terms with the fact, she's like, I have an anxious attachment style. Like,
what's that mean?
Well, there's a lot of things you can go into, but basically anxious attachment style for her is like, she'll start dating someone and she's like already attached to them, and then she gets really anxious over if anything goes wrong, she just like kind of panics.
Oh gosh.
And so but it's like she knows and she sees it and she recognizes it, and it's not her fault. These things were created in us either from past relationships, our parents, childhood, like all this stuff. And so what did I tell her to do? I spelled out a whole routine for her to do every single day this week. Just for this week alone. And literally they're each going to take her probably like 10 minutes. And she already messaged me today and she was like, wow, like it felt so good to do that today.
And with that, I go into if you guys need any kind of help. I'm just kidding.
Seriously, but no, I would love to help you. I mean, with life coaching, I think it's super important. I have a lot of people where we just do like one 90-minute session. You know what I mean? You don't have to have a coach for 90 days or whatever. And I just think we all could use the support. Personally.
And why should we trust you? I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you. He doesn't follow her on Instagram.
I'm not listing off 100 different reasons.
She basically posts all the reasons on there.
But yeah, so I think that kind of sums up today's episode. I'm off to Hawaii. Okay, we'll see you later. Mahalo. Aloha.
Oh God,
just kidding. You ready?
I'm ready.
You ready to go?
Let's call this one up, wrap it up.
All right, well, that's going to be it, you guys. If you have any questions, as always, leave us a comment, message us on Instagram. My Instagram is in the bio.
Comment on the YouTube.
Comment on the tube, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.